So I got a message that I want to share. It's been in there for a few days, and it might seem simple. It might seem like, oh, I've heard this before, but it's really profound. If you can really let this sink in and really feel this, it can really have a massive impact in your life, and it has for me, especially in the last few weeks. And life has really forced me to look at this and understand this, not as this abstract concept, but as something that I live my life by, something that I become very aware of. And that is this. Where are you giving your attention to that which you do not desire? What are you in your life? What story, doubt, fear, any of that, limitation, what are you giving your energy to? Because if everything is consciousness, which it is, you can look at it as a garden, and you can grow whatever you want in the garden of your consciousness. But what you're giving your energy to throughout the day via your thoughts, the words that you speak, that's what's growing in your garden. And, people talk about letting go. And I know for me, I was like, how do you let go? How do you really do that? How do I just let go of something that I've held on to, for years, for most of my life, whatever the thing is? And it's not really a process of so much letting go. It's not giving it any attention anymore. So it's kind of like, if you have cancer, or if you have candida in your gut, you stop feeding it because it's craving certain things. It needs certain things to survive. It needs sustenance. It needs energy. Just like the things that we have within us that we don't want anymore. We're like, all right, that's not serving me. Don't want that. But we think about it and we name it as our problem. I'm struggling with this. I'm having tons of issues with this. And in doing that, you're just creating and re-solidifying that it is an issue for you, that you are struggling with it. This is not denial, okay? Let's get that straight. This isn't denial. This is creation. This is the universal law of the principle of care. You are going to get what you put your attention and focus on. So if you stop feeding the negative things, the stories and the habits and all the things that you don't want, that are hurting you, that are holding you back from living the life you can live, stop feeding it and become very aware. You can't do it right away because it's been there for a long time. So you just become very aware of when you're feeding it throughout the day with your thoughts and the stories that are going on, and maybe some of the actions that you're taking and the way that you speak to people. You become aware of that and you say, oh, feeding that again, okay. And the more you become aware of it and the more you stop allowing yourself to feed those weeds in your consciousness, they're going to start to just naturally fall away. And what you do is you start funneling that attention on the future that you want to create, the future that you desire, the parts of yourself that you want to express more. It's creating with life. It's co-creating with life instead of being a prisoner and a slave to your past. Now, this is a slow process at first because this is really strong conditioning we're talking about. These weeds have gotten fucking huge in our garden. So love yourself through this. Give yourself encouragement. Give yourself a nice pat on the back when you see yourself feeding the old story, feeding the doubts, the fears. This can show up for a lot of people, and it did for myself with money. The money story thing. Oh, it's so insidious, isn't it? It's so like, I used to feel this charge in my solar plexus when I got a bill or when, I had an issue with my car. And that was only because I was in survival mode. I was giving all of my attention and energy to living in survival, disconnected from all possibility, disconnected from my truth and my real nature, which is unlimited possibility. And I didn't recognize that, oh, I'm in a dance with life. I'm co-creating this along with life, and I'm doing that through my attention. Therefore, I need to be paying very close attention to where my attention's going throughout the day. So this is really powerful when you can start to grasp this. And it seems so simple, but when you can start applying this and you start setting the intention of really staying open and present enough to notice where your attention is going, because a lot of it happens just subconsciously, right? With these patterns, it just gets pulled and you don't even recognize it's going on. That's why I do meditation, because I become an observer and I can see my mind just going crazy, all these different directions. And if I'm not aware, that will just happen, and then I'll be getting brought all over the place by my own mind. And that is how we become a slave and a prisoner to our own mind. But now we have an opportunity to take back the power of our mind, to tame the lion, to get rid of to slowly decondition the programming, and it's really on us now, right? Because we have all the science and the knowledge on, how we get programmed with these beliefs early on as children, and from our traumas and things that happened when we were kids, and emotional patterns from teenage years. We know all that. And now it's really our responsibility to reprogram ourselves in the way that we choose to, the way that we desire, the way that we want to create our life. And I can tell you, for me, I resisted that for a long time. I wanted to play the victim game. I wanted to give my attention to the places where, it's because of this person, and this happened when I was 5, and I'm making fun of it slightly, but it's not to minimize people's experiences or any of the ones that I had that were traumatic when I was a kid. It's just to bring a little humor to ourselves in this time where everything's so serious. We can be humorous, we can be lighthearted as we go through this process of becoming aware of where our attention's been going. And this is why it's so important to this is why it's so important to connect to your inner vision. Because your values, because when you're thinking about those, and this is what I work on with my clients, I get them very clear on their vision and their values. Why? Because when you're focused on those things and your attention's going to the things that are important to you, the things that you value, the things that inspire you, uplift you, and empower you, the things that excite you, the things that bring you joy, guess what happens? You get more of it. Your garden starts to look different. It goes from these huge weeds and these invasive vines that are restricting you into beautiful flowers, into butternut squash, whatever your favorite vegetable is, celery, broccoli, whatever. You have the ability to regrow your garden and let the weeds die out. Stop feeding them, giving them water and sunlight, which is your attention. And this is a universal principle. Nature shows us this. This isn't something I'm just sitting here making up, some spiritual thing. Like, no, this is the reality that we find ourselves in, and this is what nature teaches us. So that's the message here. And I feel like this is one of the most important messages that I could give, because it's really like the biggest factor in our life is where we're putting our attention, and starting to become aware of that throughout our day, and the way that we speak to people, our words, our energy and vibrations. Like, are we speaking from the place of the old story? Are we reinforcing our limitations and self-limiting beliefs? It's time to go beyond those. My garden was ugly with those weeds, let me tell you. But it's so empowering and so amazing when you start to do this. And over time, it gets easier, and over time, it starts to become automatic, right? Your baseline changes from negative victim story to empowered, inspiring, all possibilities exist, excitement of what's life bringing me today? Where do I want to put my powerful attention today? What do I want to bring into my life that I want to start focusing on more? That's it. Become the gardener of your life. Be a good steward, right? So that's what I got today. I hope you guys got something out of it. And this is so powerful. This is so powerful. And if any one of you listening can really take this to your heart today, it's gonna provide profound results. So much love, everyone. I'll see you later.